What's good, Scorpio gang? Welcome to my channel, Tarot by the Intuitive Teacup. In front of twinkle lights, no less. I'm all excited. I set up my new tarot studio space here, so yeah, I'm excited. Let's do some tarot for you. We're gonna do one I call my Little Sips miniature love readings for you Scorpios out there. Welcoming you to come into this reading with an open heart and an open mind, as always, knowing in advance not everything I say will be your message. I hope lots and lots of this resonates. Pieces and parts of it very likely will. And if not, please do have faith that those messages are going out to someone else who needs to hear them, okay? Anything that feels foreign or strange, drop it like it's hot. Assume it's a message going out to someone else who needs to hear it. Don't be offended if it's not your message this week. We'll see what we can get from my Scorpios regarding love, their person, where they're at. Oops. Got lots of cards coming out. All right. Everything else about this video down in the description box below, including the decks I'm using here today, as well as my social media channels. I'm the Intuitive Teacup on Facebook and Instagram. If you want to book a personal, that's all down in the box below. Let's hop in. All right, Scorpio. So bottom of your deck, you have the Page of Wands. So curiosity, little sparks, intrigue, with potentially some, oh my gosh, Scorpio, this is so clear to me. Someone who's maybe just gotten out of prison. That's hilarious. Okay. I understand you guys are like, what the fuck? For most of you, that's not the case. For most of you, that's a metaphor for something. So someone who was otherwise tied up, if there was like an obstacle or a blockage between you guys being able to see each other. In fact, if it's something like that, you know, they could have been caring for their child, for their parent, for their this, you know, tied up at work. They were doing something they didn't enjoy, though. I will say that. And their head was very clouded or cluttered, really, with something that they were dealing with. Potentially it's a Gemini or someone who is dealing with a Gemini. In any case, you knew you had to be patient, and there's reward in you being patient, because patience is a virtue, right, Scorpio? So yeah, for some of you, it was just so funny the way this came out. It was just like, you are excited by someone who's getting out of prison. And hey, for some of you, if that's the case, you know, no judgment. I ain't judging you, you know. But very interesting. For some of you, there may be a Cancer coming up in your future too. A Cancer, yeah, who's you may have rejected in the past and they feel a little bit like butthurt about it. But yeah, here's the thing, you're still thinking about them because they're still coming up in your energy for some reason. So there might be a second chance with a Cancer, if that makes sense to any of you out there. All right, so let's look at your person. They are, I think this is a similar message. They're walking away from something that kept them tied up. They essentially had to cut their losses on something. It could have been another relationship, but the thing is, they're okay with walking away from it because they, again, this could be a lot of different things. They were able to salvage something from it. So, you know, in metaphor, the crops they grew, it didn't quite blossom into what they thought it was going to be, but either they learned something in the process or they're taking something away to try it in a different. It could be a relationship that they're trying to revisit with you in a different way, Scorpio. But what they're headed towards is, if they are going to try it again, they're going to try it again with love, with, their cup runneth over. I just heard like ace in the hole or something like that. Maybe they're a golfer. I don't know. But it's very positive. I love this Ace of Cups. I think it's just so cool looking. Yeah, so they're walking away from something, but again, it's not a sense of sadness. If anything, it's like, oh, thank God, I'm finally done. I'm free. I've paid my dues. I've done my time. Whatever it is. That prison metaphor just keeps making me laugh. I don't know why. That's funny to me. Ace of Cups. This could be someone that either works in a healing profession. They could be a doctor, a nurse. They could be like a spiritual healer. Or it could indicate, this is more than likely what's going on, they're coming to you. And again, for a lot of you, I'm almost wanting to say coming back to you because you offer such warmth and nurturing. You could be dealing with a Pisces too with the High Priestess and the Hangman. It's Neptune energy. There's some sort of like dreamy, is it ethereal? Ethereal? I don't know what the word is. A quality. I don't know why that's coming through. But yeah, they enjoy being around you because you're very soothing. You're very calming, and they are getting out of a situation that was relatively unpleasant. I don't think it has to do with their own illness. I don't think it's anything like that, but they could have, and I don't predict anything scary on my channel. It's just not what I do, but they could have been helping someone who was quite ill, and maybe that person recovered, or again, maybe it was an older parent, and that parent has potentially passed on, and now it's like they're ready to build elsewhere or move on to the next chapter in their life, something like that. I mean, right in the center of their spread and in their heart space, they have love. They have not only love for themselves, their cup runneth over, but that's a good thing because then they're able to provide, water to your cup if we're using this metaphor of cups being our heart and the love that goes back and forth. So they want you, this is such a random message, they want you to cook them dinner. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, there's something about they like the food you make, or they like your cooking, or I guess that could be like some like sexual innuendo, like they like the taste, right? Something like that. I don't know. It's not really telling me too much. Let's hop into your energy and see what the universe wants Scorpio to see about this, and then we can always go back and clarify here, but they have 2 cards of assessment, but there's more certainty the further along they go. So I like that. There's progress. If they are at all sort of having any sort of resistance or hesitancy, it's almost like when they meet up with you, the water sign, right? It could involve 2 water signs again, or potentially a fire sign. Yeah, it's like the love grows. With the passing of time, love grows. And like, here's the one thing I am sort of being called to say by this is they definitely love the idea of you, Scorpio. They can envision a future with you, but I'm not sure they've actually taken the steps to go and build that or create that or try and do it with you. Like, I didn't mean that in a sexual way, but this would be like, they see a future with you, but you guys have never lived together or something like that. It sort of feels like they are a little bit ready to rush in. Because, yeah, there's something, they put you up on a pedestal, which I mean, that's nice. It does good things for your ego, right? But there's a sense of like they idealize you, but I'm not sure when it comes down to like the nitty gritty details, they've actually thought all of this through. For 1 or 2 of you, there is an element of a little bit of like rebounding, like, oh, thank God I'm free from my ex. Now I can run in and do something with Scorpio. But again, I would just caution you that they're not using you. This whole idea that, they want you to cook them dinner or whatever, that is a metaphor, right? Your healing powers, your empathy, your compassion, your kindness. It does seem like they're in a place where they need that, but I stand by what I said. I mean, they're coming into it with Ace of Cups, so there's potential for newness and cup runneth over, lots of love to be had and to be given. I am just, for a select few of you, there is an element of this person doesn't always make good on their promises, or they don't always deliver what they say they're going to. They have good intent. That's what it is. They have good intentions, but it's like the proof is in the pudding, and they're struggling to make the pudding. Do you know what I mean? They're more talk and less action, and you kind of want it to be in the reverse, or equally both, right? So I would proceed with caution, but I don't get any terrible energy from this. They are coming out of something that was a little bit, I heard vicious. So I don't know if that's a relationship or what that is, but it could be something where they're just really unhappy at their job. What the universe wants you to know about this, Scorpio, well, I mean, these are right in alignment. You have the World card, completions of a cycle, and then you have the Fool. So again, you're going in a positive direction too, as I said. Like, they go from 7 of Pentacles assessment to walking away, right? This is after tarot, right? Is it after? Yeah, after tarot. And then Hangman mode, which is sometimes deliberation, the crown of illumination. It seems like they've already changed their perspective to see you, to want to be with you. And same for you. It's like you're closing out an old cycle. This is sometimes like metaphorically a card of graduation, right? You've been through, lots of ups and downs, but now you're heading into something and you're very excited about it. And you're just real chill, but I do sense that you are holding out or holding on to this person. Again, I'm laughing at the whole waiting for someone to be released from jail, from prison. Again, for most of you, that's a metaphor, but it really is a solid metaphor for whatever this person was going through. So, take it as it is, but yeah, you were saddened that you couldn't be with this person, but you weren't showing face. You were trying to suppress the emotions. You were not wearing your heart on your sleeve. You didn't want this person to know, the pain or the tragedy or whatever it was you were feeling about the situation. It's almost like you were trying to be strong for both of you. This may even have to do with like a parent-child dynamic. For some. I am getting that vibe a little bit. But yeah, I mean, your vibe right now is really chill. But that's sort of why I'm not really getting the fact that if this person were released from something and you were waiting, you're not rushing into their life with open arms. I mean, I think you're going to meet up with them. I think you're interested, or obviously you wouldn't be watching the tarot reading, right? But you're just kind of, it's almost like, I'm sort of getting it's a little bit cocky, like, I knew they'd come around eventually. But it's that's sort of the way it's being relayed to me. You sort of had peace of mind about the situation, even though it did cause you pain and heartbreak, which to me is like slightly a contradiction. But we're all complex human beings, so that'll make sense to someone out there. Like the waiting period took its toll on you. That was very harsh, and yet maybe it's just saying in your heart and your intuition, you always knew this person would essentially kind of save themselves or get themselves out of this tricky situation. So, okay, so maybe it's like you were focusing on building your own world, but you were always sort of waiting for them to come back in. I don't love doing readings like this, but again, it's not about my preference as a reader. It's reading what the cards say. This to me is saying you were holding out hope that eventually you guys would build a life together. And I mean, you have the card of teamwork and building a life. You go from completing your own cycle to starting anew. To me, the dog always represents loyalty. So someone you were loyal to or vice versa. You may end up building something together or doing something. It may involve needing to have a heavy conversation where, I'm not getting it's a heavy conversation where you two would decide to be together or not. It's more like smoothing out some waves. It's like if there was trouble in paradise, it seems like something came to a head where you had to finally address an issue or a concern you had. And again, it's more to repair it than to be like, that's it, I'm done. It's not an ultimatum. It sounds more like, listen, that like when you did that, it wasn't cool and it really hurt. Like, that's what I mean. It's almost like addressing the elephant in the room. There was something that really did upset you, but as I was saying, you were suppressing it because it could have even been like you knew they weren't in a good state of mind to deal with a heavy conversation about your relationship. Again, they could have been dealing with something at work. So this is actually funny the way it's being relayed to me. It's like, all right, I'm going to give you your time to heal, but like, I'm not going to forget about this. And you're just like, all right, we'll talk about this later. I think that's what's coming to a head. And it may involve third party stuff. I don't know that for certain. It could absolutely have to do with their career and their finances too. Maybe they made a poor judgment call regarding their money or their funds or quitting a job or this or that. Anyway, I think as I'm saying, there's going to be a small argument where you essentially confront, but even the way this is shown, eventually you wear it out to the point of almost exhaustion. Like, I can't talk about this anymore. Like I said, I'm sorry. Are we gonna proceed forward? And yes, you will, because after the 5 of Wands comes the 6. That's a card of victory, right? It's making it through challenging circumstances or obstacles. And then it goes into the Lover's card. So again, this could involve a Gemini. I was getting a little bit of that earlier. Or you're just going to come back together and be with your little sweetheart, your little lover there, right? Male or female. I do get the idea that maybe, again, accidentally, I don't think it was malicious or intentional. This person may have taken you for granted or used you in a way where it could have been that they borrowed money and never said thank you or something like that. Like you kind of felt like there is a little bit of a grudge. Scorpio, never. You, a grudge? I'm just kidding. I got a Scorpio moon. I know all about that. Scorpio. No, but that's what I'm saying. But yeah, justice prevails. I do think this person does. I don't want to say a 180. I think that would be expecting too much right out the gate, right out the prison gate. No, I'm just kidding. Justice is served here. This is about things, the odds going in your favor, things turning out in a way that is, I heard practical, but in a way that is just. There's restitution. Is that the right word? On something, you guys potentially were trying to build and maybe it got put on pause or delay or something. I do think this person comes in with good intentions, but they're a little bit out of touch with reality. You might be dealing with a Pisces. I'm sorry for any of the Pisces cross watchers. And I'm not making that as a blanket statement about Pisces, but I am being called to say they're a little bit of like a dreamer. They have their head in the clouds a lot. So they don't always view things from your perspective, Scorpio. That's something I think over the years I'm being called to say, you slowly kind of have to be like, but what about me? Like, I'm part of this relationship, and when you do this, I feel this way. Like, there is a little bit of like, you have to hold their hand and guide them through it because they don't always see things correctly, okay? Right, and yeah, the bottom of your deck, Ace of Swords. This overall, this feels very positive, guys. So I'm not going to try and spin it in another way if it's not calling me to. So yeah, in terms of major arcana, or well, you know, big players, I will say Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. Obviously, that could be you. Definitely have some Cancer, sometimes Pisces for me as a reader. More Pisces here. You have a Libra, you have a Gemini. This to me is a very indicative of Capricorn energy and Aries or Aquarius. All right, guys, that's what I got for you. Please like, share, subscribe. Let me know in the comments below what resonates. I will see you Scorpios very soon for more tarot. Bye.